Hello students, welcome to electronics class. Today in this session we are going to learn crystal oscillator. Already we have learned LC and RC oscillators, and in today's session the new oscillator in the last one in the oscillators, that is crystal oscillator. Before going to learn crystal oscillator, we will just brush up some first year things that we have not studied in first year because of removed syllabus. The series resonance circuit. In series resonance circuit, see, while explaining the LC oscillator, I have taught you something. When AC applied to pure capacitor, what happens? AC applied to pure resistor, what will be the condition? AC applied to pure capacitor, what happens? And we have studied RC circuit, we are studying the RC oscillators. And when AC applied to inductor, what happens? That we have not studied. Here in this circuit, I am going to apply AC voltage for the series combination of R, L and C. Here we know that voltage across R will be in phase with the current because it is a series combination. Same current flows through the small I, right? Same current flows through all the components, right? So the voltage across the resistor will be in phase with the current flowing through it, that we have studied. And the voltage across the capacitor will be lagging behind the current flowing through it. That is, the same current is flowing. The voltage across resistor will be in phase with I. The voltage across capacitor lags behind the I. That we have drawn the phasor diagram and shown. And voltage across VL leads the I. That means in inductors the current is lagging behind the voltage. So in capacitor, in resistor, if it is VR and current is also like this. In capacitor it will be 90 degree out of phase. If it is a current, is VC. In inductor, the voltage leads the current by 90 degree. In inductors, voltage leads the current. That is, in inductors, current lags behind the voltage by 90 degree. So, combining all these diagrams, I can write VR in this way if the current is also flowing in the same direction, and VC is lagging behind the current by 90 degree and VL is leading the current by 90 degree. So, if I take this VC here, this is VL. If VC is this magnitude, if I consider here, this will be VL minus VC. This is VL minus VC will be this much. Okay. So, by this phasor diagram, they are going to VR square, that is V square. The voltage across the circuit will be VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. By this, we will substitute this as I square, Z square, I square, R square, something like that. If I do that, then for Z, that is impedance, when we calculate impedance, it is the opposition offered by the current, opposition offered by the resistance as well as the reactive elements. Here reactive elements are inductor and capacitor. So the total opposition offered by the resistance, inductor and capacitor, that is impedance. That impedance is represented as Z, and that is equal to root of R square plus XL minus XC square. Okay. So whenever a AC voltage of some particular frequency or some frequencies which is having a more frequencies, not one frequency, some frequencies is applied to this. So what happens at high frequencies? At high frequencies, we know the formula for XL, that is inductive reactance 2 pi FL. At high frequencies, XL also increases and the circuit behaves as inductive. For high frequencies, circuit behaves as inductive because the opposition for the current flow here is more from the inductance, because as the frequency increases, inductive reactance also increases. It is directly proportional to the frequency. So at low frequencies, then what happens? At low frequencies, Xc is equal to, we know, 2 pi Fc. If frequency decreases, Xc increases. So the circuit becomes capacitive. That means at high frequencies, inductive reactance increases, capacitive reactance decreases. So circuit will be inductive. That means opposition will be more from the inductor than the other two components. So the at low frequencies, capacitive reactance increases and inductive reactance decreases. So the circuit will be called as capacitive. So as the frequency, if the frequency increases, inductive reactance increases. So if the frequency decreases, then capacitive reactance increases. So at some point, as the frequency is starting from 0, here at 0 frequency, Xc will be maximum. At maximum frequency, XL will be maximum. At some intermediate frequency between these two, at that time, XL will become equal to Xc. So what happens? XL become equal to Xc, that is at one particular frequency, as the frequency is starting increasing from here, and once if it is increases, XL increases. If the frequency is coming down from this point, and Xc also increases if frequency is decreasing. So at some particular frequency, those two will become equal. What happens if they become equal in this equation? Z is equal to R. That time the circuit will become purely resistive, and this resistance is very small compared to the reactances. So maximum current will flow through the circuit. So that point is called as point of electrical resonance, or it's a resonant frequency, and it is given by the formula 1 by 2 pi into root LC. It is XL is equal to XC, will substitute, that is 2 pi FL is equal to 2 pi FC, 1 by 2 pi FC. So F I will take this side, F square is equal to 4 pi square L into C. F is equal to square 2 pi into root of LC. So this is how the relation for resonant frequency is derived. Okay, this is how the series resonant circuit behaves. That means at low frequencies, the circuit behaves as capacitive. At high frequencies, the circuit behaves as inductive. At some frequency, that is resonant frequency, at the point of electrical resonance, the circuit behaves as resistive, and the maximum current flows at that time. Okay, so this circuit is used in so many tuned circuits for the frequency selection. So it will select those frequencies only when the current is maximum, that is at resonant frequency. It will select the particular resonant frequency for the any of the receiver or transmitter circuit, receiver circuits. If you are in remote TV remote, you are changing the channels, right? So at that time you just press the button. So that channel is that selecting a particular frequency, that is done by the tuned circuits. Okay. And one more concept, that is parallel resonant circuit. Parallel resonance So this is the parallel resonant circuit where inductor and capacitor are connected in parallel to each other. So resistance will be very small, and usually it is a LC circuit only. It will be the coil resistance are just shown as a resistance, which is a very small value. So whenever a AC voltage is applied to the parallel resonant circuit, what happens at resonance, XL will become equal to XC. So what happens, see, if here we'll take the current into picture, because this is a parallel resonant circuit. Here the current divides, right? In series current will be same, and here voltage between these two will be same. So these two branches will be same, and in current, while the current is going to divide among these two branches, right? So when at the point of resonance, XL will become equal to XC. So at that time, if I consider this is very small, so same current flows through the both L and C. Same current flows through the both L and C, and that current is equal in amount and opposite in direction. So the current will be equal but in opposite direction. The current will cancel out. Ideally, there is a zero current drawn from the circuit, but practically there is a small value of resistance is there. So the current drawn from the circuit will be minimum. In series resonance circuit, the current drawn from the circuit is maximum at the point of resonance, whereas in parallel resonance circuit, the current drawn from the circuit will be minimum. In parallel resonance circuit, the current drawn from the circuit will be minimum. So the resonant frequency curve for the parallel resonance will be something like that. The current will be very less at the point of resonance. Okay. Okay, students. We are going to study crystal oscillator today. What is the crystal and how the crystal oscillator works? Crystal oscillator works on the principle of piezoelectric effect. This you might have studied in your high school, I'm not sure. What is piezoelectric effect? Piezoelectric effect is the ability of certain material to generate electric field in response to the applied mechanical stress. That is, whenever a mechanical force, a stress is applied to the piezoelectric material, it is going to generate an electric field. Conversely, whenever electric field is applied to the crystal, they exhibit stress. That means piezoelectric materials which has the ability of generating the electric field, whenever they come into the mechanical stress. And also converse is also true, that is whenever the mechanical stress is applied, they are going to generate the electric field. Okay, the ability of a certain material to generate electric charge in response to the applied mechanical stress. Conversely, when the electric field is applied to the crystal, here it is going to generate the electric field when mechanical stress is applied, and when electric field is applied across the crystal, then they exhibit stress and they start vibrating. So the crystal, if this is a piezoelectric crystal, usually the piezoelectric materials will be non-conductive materials, and these two are the two metal plates. Whenever a stress is applied to this on these metal plates, this crystal is going to vibrate and it is going to generate an electric charge, and that charge is collected by the metal plates and generates electricity, and that is called as piezoelectricity. Piezo in Greek means press or push. So conversely, whenever an electric field is applied between these two metal plates, the crystal starts vibrating. So this is the piezoelectric effect which is going to be used in a crystal oscillator. Okay, the well-known piezoelectric materials are Rochelle salt, tourmaline and quartz. Rochelle salt is a very good at its piezoelectricity. That means it exhibits a good piezoelectric effect, but mechanically it is not strong, it is weak. It is affected by the moisture and heat. Okay, and tourmaline is one of the piezoelectric material which is mechanically very strong but exhibits very poor piezoelectric effect. Okay, and quartz is the well-known piezoelectric material which is going to which compensates both the properties. I mean, it is mechanically stronger than Rochelle salt, and also it exhibits good piezoelectricity than tourmaline. That means quartz will be in between these two. Tourmaline is a material which is expensive too, but mechanically strong but expensive, but poor piezoelectric effect. Rochelle salt exhibits high piezoelectric effect but mechanically weak, but quartz is compensates both the properties of Rochelle salt and tourmaline, and it is easily available in nature. So quartz is the most used piezoelectric material in the most of the devices. See here, what is going to happen whenever a mechanical stress is applied, it is going to generate the electric field, and whenever electric field is applied, it is going to generate a mechanical stress. So it acts like a transducer. You might have heard about transducer. That is our mic, microphone, speakers or buzzers. See, are in sensors. See, what happens? Microphone is one which converts our pressure energy into electrical energy. That is a force, a pressure which pushes the mic. So, it pressure energy into electrical energy. So, that is the ability of said material to generate electric field. And speaker is one which exhibits the inverse piezoelectric effect. That is, whenever electric field is applied, it converts the electrical energy into sound energy. So, it exhibits a stress. Converts the electrical energy into pressure energy, and that will become as our voice, a sound energy. Okay. So, this is on this principle the crystal oscillator is going to work. Students, this is the circuit symbol for the crystal, where the quartz crystal is suitably cut and mounted between the two metal plates. metal plates, and the equivalent circuit of the crystal is given by the series LCR circuit. So only we studied series LCR circuit at the beginning. So whenever the crystal is not vibrating, when it is at its rest position, the crystal behaves as this parallel capacitor Cm. See, here we have in this equivalent circuit, we have R, L and Cs which are in series, and Cm is the one more capacitor which is parallel to this circuit. So crystal oscillator is going to operate in both Fs and Fp, that is series resonant frequency and parallel resonant frequency. So whenever it is just an equivalent circuit assumption, whenever the crystal is not vibrating, it is just a Cm. The capacitor behaves as a capacitor Cm, which is created by the two metal plates of the crystal and two metal plates of the crystal slab, and the dielectric will be the crystal slab. Okay. So, and whenever the crystal is start vibrating, then L is equivalent to electrical equivalent of crystal mass. Mass is one, which is the basic property of all the matter you know. Mass is one which opposes or which resists the external force on any body. Mass is a thing which is a resistance, which exhibits the property of resistance to the external force. So, and capacitor Cs is electrical equivalent of elasticity of the crystal. Elasticity is nothing but when the crystal is vibrating, it is the ability of the crystal to getting back into its original shape and original position. And R behaves as a electrical equivalent of mechanical friction. Mechanical friction is in the sense is the resistance to the force for the motion. Resistance for the motion of the crystal. So this is how you people well known about mass, elasticity and friction. So you can easily assume the crystal into the equivalent circuit than me, right? And this crystal's actual original frequency will be F is equal to K by T, where K is the constant depend on the cut of the crystal, in what shape it is cut and what is the thickness, and it is a constant depend on the cut of the crystal, and T is the thickness of the crystal. By looking at this equation, if the thickness decreases, the frequency increases. Okay, that is thickness of the crystal is inversely proportional to the frequency. And according to this equivalent circuit, the crystal vibrates in two frequencies, that is series resonant frequency, that is Fs is equal to 1 by 2 pi LCs, and Fp is equal to 1 by 2 pi LC equivalent. C equivalent is Cs Cm divided by, that is parallel combination of these two capacitors. As of now, I love this. So, if we take, as I have told you, crystal vibrates in both the frequencies. That means crystal oscillator is going to generate the frequencies in both frequencies, because it is equivalent circuit which resembles the series as well as parallel resonant circuit. When you consider a series resonant circuit, that F is equal to F, at that time XL is equal to XCS. CS is a series capacitor connected with the inductor. So at that time Fs is equal to 1 by 2 pi of root L CS. So whenever the frequency starts increasing, inductive reactance becomes equal to capacitive reactance. Whenever the inductive reactance is high, so frequency of oscillation at this point, whenever the inductive reactance is coming down, decreasing, what happens? The frequency decreases and reaches some point. At the time, the capacitive reactance was very high. At that time, frequency was very less. So whenever the capacitive reactance reduces and reaches some point on frequency line, that is called as Fs, that is series resonant frequency. And slightly above this series resonant frequency, there is a parallel resonant frequency, and that will be at parallel resonant frequency XRLC is equal to XCM. That is, this reactance will become equal to this. At that time, maximum impedance should occur. Maximum impedance, whenever the impedance of the one branch will be equal to impedance of the another branch. So that time XRLC is equal to XCM. So the Fs, Fp is given by the equation 1 by 2 pi into root of L C equivalent, where C equivalent is equal to CS Cm divided by CS plus Cm. So in this way, crystal vibrates in both the frequencies, and the parallel resonant frequency will be slightly higher than the Fs, because CS is very much less than Cm. So when you make it parallel, the value of the equivalent capacitance will be lesser than the CS, right? So if the capacitance decreases, again frequency increases a bit. So if you consider the CS in case of series resonant frequency and C equivalent will be slightly lesser than CS. So Fp is slightly higher than Fs. So you will find Fp at this point. Okay. So we have already LC oscillators and RC oscillators. Then also we have a crystal oscillator, right? See, crystal oscillator, the main thing in the oscillators is its frequency stability. As we have studied, the LC oscillators are not much stable than RC oscillators. RC oscillators, we have not used inductors, so they are more stable than LC oscillator. But there is a limit to the frequency stability in LC and RC oscillators. Whereas compared to LC and RC oscillator, there is a crystal oscillator which is having a good frequency stability. So only in most of the circuits, digital circuits, crystal oscillator circuits are preferred. Circuit diagram of crystal oscillator circuit. Here CE amplifier circuit is used. So you can easily draw the circuit diagram. It's a well-known thing for everyone, I feel. This is the circuit diagram for crystal oscillator. So here CA amplifier is used as an amplification device. You know already in CA amplifier R1, R2 provides R1, R2 and RE provides the DC biasing. C is the bypass capacitor which bypasses the AC at the ground, and CC, these two are the coupling capacitors which blocks DC, allows only AC and connects it to the next stage. And RFC is the radio frequency choke that we have already studied in other oscillators, which isolates the DC source from the DC power supply from the AC oscillations generated at the collector. And in the feedback circuit we have connected a crystal along with two capacitors. Here it resembles a Colpitts oscillator, only thing we have replaced the inductor by crystal, because at parallel resonance what happens? At series resonance XC will become equal to XC at series. Remember the previous circuits, XCS will be equal to XL I told, right? At parallel resonant frequency slightly increases. Parallel resonant frequency is slightly higher than the series resonant frequency. So once the frequency increases, inductive reactance will be increases, right? For the circuit at resonant frequency, at series resonant frequency, the capacitive reactance of the series capacitor and the inductive reactance will be equal. That time we will get series resonant frequency. And at parallel resonant frequency, it will be parallel with the CM, the capacitor CM, equivalent circuit you assume. At that time, the frequency is the parallel combination of CM and CS reduces till, so capacitor decreases. So at that time frequency increases. If the frequency increases, inductive reactance increases. So at the parallel resonance, the inductor behaves as the circuit behaves as a inductive. Okay. At series resonance, XL becomes equal to XC. Once at a slightly higher frequency than the series resonance, we will obtain parallel resonance. At that time, if the frequency is increased, inductive reactance is increased, the circuit behaves as inductive. For this series combination, in this series combination branch, the circuit behaves as a inductive. So here the crystal behaves as inductive. This is same as Colpitts oscillator. Only thing, the crystal's equivalent circuit you should learn perfectly. Whenever a parallel resonance is achieved at the crystal's equivalent circuit, the inductive reactance increases because there is a slight higher frequency than the series resonance. As the frequency increases, inductive reactance increases, the circuit behaves as the series resonant branch, that is the series LCR branch behaves as an inductive circuit. So that crystal here works as a inductance. And C1, C2 are the two capacitors which are at the center it has been grounded. Therefore the potential across C1 and potential across C2 will be opposite in direction. So here the 180 degree phase shift is going to produce by the amplifier, that is it's a C amplifier, where the output is 180 degree out of phase from the input, and another 180 degree is provided by the C2, voltage across the C2. So in the feedback network. Okay. This is how the crystal oscillator behaves. So it is same as Colpitts oscillator, only thing the crystal is replaced by the inductor. And the frequency of crystal oscillator Fs is equal to 1 by 2 pi into root of LCS. And this crystal oscillator oscillates at this frequency. And frequency stability of the crystal oscillator is very high because it is not affected by any temperature changes. if there is any temperature changes or power supply changes, or any transistor parameter changes, the crystal frequency is not going to affect. The frequency stability in the crystal will be stable because it is not going to affect by these factors, and that is the main advantage of the crystal oscillator. And the disadvantage of the crystal oscillator is every time it will oscillate at a single frequency. In LC tuned and RC tuned oscillators, you need to, if you want to get the desired frequency, you need to just tune the inductance value or resistance value, right? If here in this, once the crystal is cut and mounted, it cannot be replaced easily. So it will be going to oscillate in a single frequency. Okay, once it is manufactured, again the replacing the crystal is again difficult because the frequency of the oscillation depends on the cut and the crystal cut and the thickness of the crystal. And the applications of crystal oscillators. In communication, transmitters and receivers, in digital watches, any of the digital circuits nowadays. In your smartphone also you have crystal oscillators, clock, calculators. Nowadays all the most of the electronic devices, all the devices are digital. So for any digital circuit, if you go, you need a clock signal. So for the generation of the clock signal, crystal oscillators are used. Okay. And this completes the oscillators. We have left out with the one concept, that is multivibrator in oscillators. That I will leave now, and I will cover that topic at the end of the digital electronics. And after this, from the next class onwards, we are going to start a new chapter, that is digital electronics, more interesting. Please don't miss any videos. Any doubts in oscillators, please text me. Thank you.